Yo, what's going on, people? What's going on? It's SVD on the mic. Those are design guy once again. My lighting looks terrible. Back again with another episode of Community Corner. This is episode number 35. Let's say I hope you guys are all good out there today. Hope you've had a great day. It's been nice day weather-wise. Things have been all good. Yes. Today's episode we have Cojax from Team Wolfpack. He's going to be talking to us about the Midlands scene, talking to us about Smash Brothers. Organizing events and stuff. Obviously, they do bi-weeklies. They got bigger events. They got a few events coming up as well. So I'm looking forward to this conversation. I'm gonna try and not keep you guys too long. What's going on, Robbie? Shout out to Electric Hobo. Shout out to Gio as well. Shout outs, man. Shout outs. As he says, the pack is gathering already. But yeah, shout out to Fury as well in the chat. We appreciate you. You know what? I was gonna do my shilling and stuff, but I'll leave that to the end. Let's just get into it for now. Let's just get into it. Welcome to the stage, Cojax. Welcome, sir.
Hello, mate. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How you doing today, man? You had a good day today? Everything been all good?
All good, yeah. I'm on the 6 weeks holiday, so chilling at the moment, definitely.
Lucky for some. But I'd say, how are we doing today? All good?
Yeah, all good. Thank you.
Good. I say appreciate your time. Appreciate you joining us on this Wednesday evening for Community Corner to discuss yourself, essentially. So yeah, thank you for the time. We appreciate it, man. But yeah, I guess
not all, brother.
I guess yeah, and it's funny because we'll probably get into, but we met for the first time at versus fighting in passing.
Yeah, we did. Absolutely,
it's literally in passing, but we'll get to that. But yeah, I guess before we start, well, I guess we started now. So yeah, just let everyone know about yourself, who you are, you know, what you do, your kind of organization and stuff, and yeah, we'll just carry on from there, really.
Absolutely. So for those people that don't know me, I am Cojax. I am one of the members of Team Wolfpack, and I'm also one of the members of Team Regen, one of the old Smash tournament organising organisations. I have been in the Smash community for 12 years now, and the Tekken community for about 2 years. So FGC is quite a new venture for me, but it's been really nice to see the community build over the last couple of years, and of course, like being in Smash for quite a long time as well. It's been amazing to see quite literal generations of players coming and going.
Shout out Mr. Cookie as well.
Shout out Mr. Cookie.
Yeah, as I say, we'll probably have to get you on here separately as well. Obviously, yeah, I just reached out to one. There was no like slight intended or anything like that. But you know,
not all, bro. Not
behind the scenes talk. But yeah, I said I appreciate it, man. So I say you said you've been in the scene for like 12 years around
for Smash. Yeah, I started when I was about 15.
Oh wow.
It's been mad, and there wasn't really a scene local round to the Midlands. I was getting my dad to drive me to Gloucester every couple of months. It was great, yeah.
That's mad.
It was mad. Yeah. I remember getting him to drive me and a group of friends about 2 hours down to Gloucester, because I think that was the only place that was running locals for Smash for 3DS and Wii U at the time.
Oh my gosh, wow.
Right at the start of the Smash 4 era. It was crazy.
That's right. So was that how you kind of first got into like fighting games, or did you have like a kind of history before that in terms of playing? How did you kind of get into fighting games in general, first of all?
I have a little bit of a history with fighting games, like just playing some of them growing up. So I have vivid memories of playing Tekken 4 growing up on PS2. I got into Smash quite late, to be fair. Like, it was one of those run-of-the-mill, walked into games, saw the cover art for Brawl. I was like, oh, I want to play this game. Like this, you know, it's got Mario in it. Let's give it a go, you know, sort of thing. So a little bit of a history here and there with fighting games. But it started very much with the beginning of Smash 4. And it was the like Nintendo ran tournaments that they toured across the UK. The Wii U wasn't even out at this point. I think they were doing Smash 3DS tournaments in local cities. So I went to the game up in the Birmingham Bull Ring, before, which it's not there anymore. It's now Sports Direct, isn't it? But
yeah,
went to there, met a few people, and this is in this period of time, a lot of things were being organised through Facebook. So like a Facebook group was set up, and by extension, I met a gent called Dale Summers. Used to go by Noble Chieftain, and he ran the events down in Gloucester, and he was like, "Oh, come down, get involved," and the community sort of built from there. And by extension of Dale essentially kick-starting Smash 4 Midlands, there were then other teams that came forward. Birmingham Weekly started, other Midlands tournaments started to sort of come to fruition, and the community really grew from there. So when Birmingham locals came along, it was going way back to Team SDB, which was everyone has flew the nest. That team doesn't exist anymore, unfortunately. From SDB, then going on to Team Regen, picking up the mantle around about 2019, and carrying the scene through COVID, through lockdown, and then coming out with rough 2 tournaments a year with Team Regen. Roughly, we'd normally do an invasion where we'd invite people from either within the UK or then further abroad as Team Regen became a lot more prolific, and then the annual Regen event,
the big one,
which culminated in Regen 2024, which was at the Athena in Leicester, which is a massive, not a cinema but almost like a theatre complex. And we had MK Leo come out for that, MK Big Boss. We had Glutenese, some of the really prolific European players. But it all starts with those, grassroots tournaments in the upstairs of pubs, sourcing our own equipment, sourcing monitors, and going from there. I only really came on to being a tournament organizer around 2021. Really, and like Team Regen had established themselves, and Will Savage sat me down for a conversation. He said, "Now, you've been helping us out for this long. Now's the time. Do you want to be part of Team Regen?" And I shook his hand there and then, and the rest is history, really.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Shout out to Team Regen as well, because I know they're obviously doing their things for like Smash Brothers and pretty big. And I say the last one in Leicester, I think I remember. Would you know Harther, who obviously did all the...
I did know her, yes.
Yeah.
All of the,
he was one of
the branding for Regen 2024.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And he did all, like, the million posters and stuff like...
And the movie theme that we had going for Regen 2024 was amazing.
It's crazy. Really good. He was one of the first, I think maybe 3rd episode that interviewed on Community Corner. I think it was 3rd episode. I'll have to check back, but it's one of the early ones. But shout out to Harford. I was really sick, guys. Sick work as well, man.
Nice. I got a shout out Zafil there as well. Zafil did a lot of the preliminary covers and the stream art, and like Zach and Harther were very much 2 people that really got the sort of production standard up to level. There's everybody really in Team Regen pulled their weight, and the stream, Regen became what it was because of that sort of Will really prided himself on high quality events and making sure that people knew who we were. We could say the same about versus fighting, really, because VSF couldn't have been going for as long as it has been without the amazing work of Electronic Dojo.
I appreciate that, and the amazing work of myself as well. You do all the
absolutely.
But let's not get to that. It's not about me. This is not my interview. But like, it was really sick. So I guess obviously, as you say, you kind of started with Regen. How did you kind of transition into? You said you were playing and you were learning the games. How did you kind of transition into being a TO, and what was the reasoning behind it?
Well, I think it was the next natural step. I feel like with the Smash community, there was a long running joke of, you either live long enough to see yourself become a TO, or you stay an O2er forever, sort of thing. but so I transitioned to the tournament organising side of it, because on the side during uni, I was also doing a bit of work for an agency called the Staff Room UK. and they essentially they staffed the Nintendo booths at like Insomnia Gaming Festival and things like that. So I was getting some like hands-on with Smash Ultimate before it came out, and from the experience that I got sort of helping to run events and seeing how they were organized there, I got, you know, a couple of transferable skills that then came over to tournament organizing. So my role with Regen very much was just the, you know, running the brackets, reporting the scores, sort of your standard boots on the ground soldier, so to speak. And from there, after Team Regen sort of went on a bit of a hiatus, Will turned to me and he says, we need to keep the community connected somehow. So off the back of that, I originally formed Team Breakout, which was an offshoot of one of the tournament series that Regen did. We cheekily stole the name. And my job there, so to speak, was to train the next generation of tournament organizers to take it on. So I employed the help of a couple of people in the Smash community who then transitioned to Wolfpack. I'll get onto that in a sec. But we went back to where Smash 4 started, which was in the Rose Villa Tavern in the Jewelry Quarter. We went back to there because trying to run a consistent local within Birmingham with the prices that City Centre was asking was ridiculous.
It's not easy.
And again, when you're starting from the very origins of a grassroots community, you've got nothing to your name. You can't justify 200 quid a day because you're not even gonna break even.
You're not making it back. You're not making it back really. So it's a struggle.
Ultimately, to see these communities forward, you need to at least break even in order to keep pushing that further. So we had to, as Fury's just said, we had to, pass the knowledge on. So I had a look at the local Smash community. I pulled in a couple of people, Dante, Sham, and Evio as well, who all helped me form Team Breakout and start running Birmingham locals. From there, my sort of teaching career became a bit more prevalent. I was like, you know what, actually, I need to start being an adult, unfortunately, taking a little bit more responsibility with my personal life and my work life. So I stepped back from the sort of organizing, and a few months later, Dante turned around and went, you know what, actually, we're really good friends with the people that run Wolves. Why don't we just merge our efforts, pool our resources? And that is how Team Wolfpack came to be eventually. There were two separate teams running. We had Breakout in Birmingham, but also the Wolves team, which was made of Cookie, Dizzle, and Mole to begin with. They were an offshoot of Royal Jesters Games Nights at the George Wallace in Wolverhampton. So it's similar to Foundry's beginnings essentially as well. We piggybacked off Royal Jester and we were like, oh, we could make a tournament series off this. And using those connections, Wolves and eventually Wolfpack were born.
Wow, that's interesting to hear. It's very interesting because I guess I didn't really know about it in terms of the collaboration and just merging together, and that is what birthed Team Wolfpack essentially.
Absolutely,
that's crazy.
And from there, we've just flown. I think Wolfpack's been running for nearly 3 years now. I think
3 years.
Yes, we're coming up to Wolves 100 in December.
Wow,
as well, which is going to be like our 100th fortnightly tournament.
That's crazy. 3 years. I've been missing, man. Like, obviously, I'm Birmingham based and that, and like Midlands and that. But I'm just, to be fair, I've been out the scene for a while. Like, I've just been doing other bits. But that's crazy.
Did you ever go to the King Otaku gaming tournaments?
Some of them. I went to maybe one or two of them.
Yeah, same. It's funny that our paths haven't crossed yet until VSF.
Yeah, strange enough. But no, that's really sick, man. That's really sick. So obviously you kind of started like Wolfpack, and again, was it mainly Smash tournaments that you guys were still running at the time?
Yeah, absolutely. It was very much a strictly Smash local. We used to run a couple of side brackets. Like Evio had an obsession with NES ice hockey, so we used to run that. Speak of the devil, we used to run NES ice hockey for we used to run jokey brackets, and we tried running Rivals 2 for a bit as well when Rivals Beta 2 came out. We had varying degrees of success with Rivals 2, purely because of the like it was Dante lugging his PC to the pub every week.
Mm.
And like the sort of the logistics behind the organising meant we couldn't run Rivals too much longer.
Mm.
But the FGC really came about with the release of Street Fighter 6 and Tekken 8.
Okay.
And it was essentially me begging Cookie to do a Tekken 8 side bracket, and
Okay.
he said, well, if you can bring your PS5 and if you can bring the setup, we'll run it.
Mm.
And I did, and that's what happened.
Mm.
From there, and from realizing that we could expand to the FGC, we met a few people who again had been going to the Royal Jester nights. I know, like myself and Cookie turned up to a Tekken tournament that Royal Jester ran. Through that, met Richie, met Cloud, met Geo, and from there really began to like build the foundations of what Wolfpack now is, whilst also then seeing the successes of Foundry, as Mr. Pig at the time was running the brackets for Royal Jester and went, you know what, actually we could make a thing of this as well.
Yeah.
So it's with these communities, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yeah, of
really.
course.
And without the help and support of the people that I've mentioned already, we wouldn't be where we are now, really.
Yeah. No, that's good. So I guess what was the reasoning behind like embracing like the FGC, as it were, in terms of running Tekken and Street Fighter?
I think it was just because so many of us on the team had our own passions for the game. I think at this point, I was in a state of semi-retirement with Smash. I wasn't enjoying the game anymore. I was getting quite frustrated with it. But I still wanted to stay connected to the community. And for me, being able to run tournaments with Street Fighter and Tekken was my way of staying connected to the community, as well as forging something that hopefully, the next generations of players will take on. So I still had that sort of competitive streak, and I really found that calling with Tekken. And I felt like, I suppose it's part of maturing as well. But one thing I found with Tekken that I didn't find with Smash was, if I lost a set with Smash, I'd be quite annoyed. I'd be, I wouldn't quite understand what I was doing wrong. Whereas with Tekken, it was more of a constructive approach, and it was like, okay, this is why I've lost this set. How can I then, correct it and improve my play for next time? So Tekken really like ignited a fire within me that was dying with the Smash side of competing, unfortunately. But even then, it's maintaining, from a tournament organizer's perspective, it's maintaining those connections and keeping a safe space where people from all different walks of life can get together and game away their worries for an evening.
Yeah. So what would you put that down to in terms of being frustrated with Smash, and as opposed to Tekken, where you are learning and, okay, I've done this wrong, let me try this? What was it? Was it mainly just the game state of Smash, how it was, or what was the particular reason for those opposing kind of thought processes?
Yes and no. I think it was it was partly to do with the state of the game, but I think it was just to do with mentality, and just as I matured and got older, it's that mentality of, okay, if I really do want to give this a go, how do I then change what's going on up here in order to keep myself, sort of not calm, but keep myself within that constructive mindset and think, right, we go again, we'll do it better next time. I suppose, as I said, starting Smash at the age of 15, you've still got a lot of sort of teenage hormones that come through there, and you lose and you're like, oh, I'm crap at this game, this damn character, I hate this matchup, and in the Waterway trailer, there's a moment where it's joked, we call it Cojax's retirement stock, where I went too far off stage and got suicide upbeat for it, and at that point I was like, yeah, you know what, I'm done with this game. As I said, I think it's partly the process of maturing and becoming, within my sort of mid to late 20s without making myself feel really old.
You're not old. You're not old. Put it that way.
I'm 27, bro. Like it's catching up with it.
Bro, you got plenty of time, man. I'm older than you. We're not gonna get into my age, but I'm older than you. Let's just say that.
But yeah, I think it is just that path of I knew that I wanted to really push myself with Tekken and do things within that game that I hadn't been able to do with Smash. Things as simple as, from upsetting a seed to then upsetting decent players, and sort of making the mark and taking names.
Let's see. So was Tekken 8 like your first Tekken game then that you started playing then, or did you play any of the Tekkens previously?
Competitively, yes. I played Tekken's 4, 6, and 7 casually. 4 whilst I was growing up, 6 through the PS3 days, 7 I couldn't get to grips with Tekken 7 as a competitive game, really. So I sort of left that as a casual game. But yeah, when Tekken 8 released, I was like, right, I'm going to take all of my experiences from competing in other games and put it towards this new game with a fresh mindset and a fresh, just a fresh career, so to speak. Yeah, really. So yeah.
And then how did you find the learning process in Tekken, like in terms of, because I'd love to play Tekken 8, but I don't think I can do it.
It is very, very difficult, I think. When you come into, especially when you go to versus fighting and you're playing against people that have got years of experience on you, you're sort of thinking, whoa, okay, there's quite a big age gap. There's quite a big sort of experience gap here. And it's just, with Tekken being one of the more notoriously difficult games to learn as well, I think I really relied on the people offline around me who were like, okay, you need to do this a little bit differently next time. My character has a certain string that is unblockable, or just really relying on the connections and rivalries to an extent. I've got to shout out Steve Beef here, because myself and Stefan were really, like, when we started Tekken 8 at Wolfpack weeklies, it was me and Stefan just going head to head constantly, and it's that back and forth rivalry that then makes you think, okay, next time, like if I lost to Steve one week, I'll be like, right, I'm getting him next week. And that, those rivalries sort of pushing you to get better as well.
No, definitely, and it's like, I remember back in the day when, like, we used to have the locals at Global Gaming Arena in Birmingham, like when we kind of started doing those.
You guys used to run a GGA as well?
Yeah. We were OG from like 08, 09, like before Street Fighter 4. We were doing before Street Fighter 4, like Tekken 5.
Oh my
Tekken
gosh.
6. And then
we used to use GGA for Second City Clash, which was one of the regen weeklies. Just before COVID, we used GGA.
Okay.
A lot of people fondly remember that venue as the bomb shelter. It's under Moore Street Station, isn't it?
So we used to use GGA like way. I say I'm an old head, like way back. I think it was. When did we start? It was maybe 08. And it's definitely around 09, because when Street Fighter 4 came out, that kind of was a big boom for like the FGC in general. And we was running events for years. Man. So like, I remember then though, like obviously as you mentioned in terms of, the rivalries, and because we used to do weeklies on Sundays as well. So it was like,
oh, that's amazing.
Okay, you played someone, you've lost to them. It's like, right, I'm going to get back and do my training. I'm going to come back next week, and then we're going to get to it. So I definitely understand. And I think that's one of the things that obviously online, you can still kind of get that in a sense. But nowadays, it's like, I feel like that offline, that kind of immediate kind of gratification of, okay, I see you now, and then we're playing. And then I think obviously it's kind of shown with like the Black Country Foundry guys in terms of what the regular events has done for them. Obviously, I spoke to Richie last week, and they kind of estimated the same thing, that like, the consistency of events, the consistency of, competition has just sharpened everyone. And obviously, I guess that's the same with like Wolfpack as well. So that's really
absolutely sick. Like as we were talking about before we went live, it's the fact that Wolfpack's now moved to Thursdays opposite Foundry means that the Midlands has a consistent weekly every single Thursday now. So the people that want, I know Richie and the boys have been turning up to the Retro Realm, which is the Foundry venue. Sorry. Just on an off day, just to grind offline as well. It's seeing players of Richie and Cloud and Koenji's caliber at your local and thinking, right, if I can take a round, I can take a game, maybe I'm going to take a set one day. And it's that seeing how you stack up against those other players is partly what keeps the passion burning, I think, as well.
Definitely, 100%. So yeah, so I guess like let me just share my screen now. So we're kind of, obviously you've mentioned about like the Team Wolfpack, Wolves at the Wallace. Obviously we're gonna kind of get into that because you've got one tomorrow, is it? You've got
yes. So yeah, we've got Wolves at the Wallace on tomorrow. That is our normal fortnightly tournament. You got the whole start GG up. Love it, absolutely.
I'm prepared, man. All the time, all the time.
Yeah, so Wolves at the Wallace 93 tomorrow. So we are just running Smash, Street Fighter, Tekken tomorrow. I know the last Wolves we ran a one-off Marvel Tokon bracket because obviously the new game hype gripped a lot of us, and I've been playing a lot of Tokon. It's been a good laugh. There's of course some of Zafiel's artwork, as I mentioned earlier.
Good stuff, man. Shout out to him, man.
Some great stuff. So yeah, it's our standard fortnightly tournament tomorrow. We've got a couple of tournaments coming up within the wider sphere as well. So the first one that's going to come up is Tilt and Tap 4.
There you go.
There we go. So Tilt and Tap 4 is happening on I've got to check my calendar just to make sure I don't give out the wrong information.
September 26th, apparently.
There we go. 26th of September. Within that, we will be running Street Fighter, Tekken. Tekken is capped. There is a waiting list for that. But we are also running Marvel Tokon, and we're going to be running some Grand Blue as well because there's a lot of ex-Smash players transitioned over to Grand Blue, so there's a really nice, bridge the gap there. We want to run a bit of Grand Blue because we know that we've got a few people that are quite interested in that, and I think we've had some offers to help run those side brackets as well. So I'm gonna shout out Sympaheave because me and Sympaheave go way back running Smash 4 tournaments as well, but it's the I know that Simp does a lot of runs Grand Blue at Versus.
Yeah, he always helps out at Versus,
and he always helps out. So I know that he'd be more than happy to hop in and give us a hand with Grand Blue when we run that as well. So Tilt and Tap 4 is very fast approaching. We've had quite the invasion. I feel like every Tilt and Tap that's happened, we've had invasions from different local scenes. So Tilt and Tap 3, we had Strike Fierce come down. So shout out to the Northampton guys, and shout out to Lazargo Serena as well. Absolutely the people that we've got coming down from Tilt and Tap 4, a lot of the Milton Keynes scene are coming.
Nice.
So
nice.
The 129, Deadlight 1001. I unfortunately can't think of anybody else off the top of my head, but I know there's a lot of Milton Keynes people coming down, and I'm hoping that we're going to see a lot more of Hyper Combo as well. Some of the
Leicester guys.
We had a Leicester invasion at Wolves at the Wallace last week, and I got some great sets in with Hersey as well on Marvel Tokon. It's really nice to just see that cross pollination really come into fruition.
Of course.
With the FGC, because we've worked bloody hard to get going. We had that player base with Smash because we knew people, and we knew if we spoke to certain people that they'd bring a bunch of people. But we really had to start from the ground up with creating our own fighting game community, relying on those connections to make sure that we had people coming through. And the proof is in the pudding because we're running a 4th Tilt and Tap, so we can't shout out Mr. Crowley there. That's amazing. So it's that cross pollination between us, Northampton, Leicester, Foundry, Milton Keynes. It's really great. Off the back of Tilt and Tap 4, we've then got our first big Smash event that we're running called Waterway. So we chose to run this one in Worcester and give it a bit of a nice geographical change. Also because Evio was very insistent. They're from Worcester, and they were like, you know what, I can scope through a few venues if we want to do a big Wolves. So this is our first go at a bigger Smash tournament outside of our Black Country Showdown series. So Waterway is running at the Graham Hick Pavilion on Worcester Cricket Ground, and that is October 18th. It is October 18th, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, 17th.
My bad.
False information, fake news.
It's the same weekend, but yeah. This is our first go at running a 96 cap Smash Ultimate bracket with Squad Strike on the side as well. We've had some great take up for that. We're at 75% capacity now, so if we can cap Waterway, then that would be a great achievement for us, and it'd be the biggest Smash tournament we've run. All of this, I can't say too much because Cookie will crucify me, but hopefully we can take the experience from both Smash and the FGC forwards to run something bigger in the future. That is all that I am allowed to say.
That is fine. On the NDA, it's understandable. It's okay. But no, that's really sick, man. I say you guys are very active in terms of the events as well. So I guess and the design and the graphics, and we do have the trailer. I don't think I'm gonna. I'll let it play.
It's all good. So the trailer, we've got to shout out Mr. Sneaky from the Smash community for this particular trailer. Just showcasing a lot of what we've done already with our Black Country Showdown series, but hopefully taking some of our expertise forwards with this. You will see the aforementioned Cojax retirement stock shortly as well. Which it's this one. It's this is the moment where I was like, yeah, you know what, Smash isn't for me anymore.
Oh gosh.
The players that are coming up now are some of the biggest sort of established players. We're really trying to get some of the EU power ranked UK players to come out for Waterway as well. Here's an interest. I've got a question for you actually. Smash. A lot of Smash community do power rankings. Is that something that has happened in the FGC in the past? Just out of interest.
I'm not sure. Maybe not recently. Like, I guess the only thing close that I can remember, we used to do like ranking battles back in the day. So, as I say, when we used to do like the weekly events, we had like ranking battles. So, say you play the tournament, you win, you get like X amount of points, and then at the end of like say 8 weeks, we had like the top 8.
Nice.
And then we did a thing like a final called the Super 8. Because again,
that's amazing.
Around the time. So at that time, then obviously the top 8 players from like the 8 weeks of the ranking day will play, and then the winner wins like the final prize and whatever. So in terms of, but explain to me what are power rankings in terms of how it works with Smash.
So with Smash, within my limited expertise of being involved with the power rankings, I'll try and keep this one brief. But it's essentially a culmination of who are the biggest players in your region at this time. So the European power ranking has just gone out for Smash Ultimate, and I think there's about I want to say 5 or 6 players that made it into like a top 50 ranking, and that ranking is based on sort of placements at big tournaments.
Other tournaments, I was going to ask what they're placed on. Okay.
The Smash Ultimate community has a sort of similar tiering system to the FGC, depending on sort of if a power ranked player, let's take MK Leo for an example, because he's one of the sort of most recognized Smash Ultimate players. If he and a bunch of other power ranked players were to turn up to a tournament in America, it might be classed as a B tier or a tier tournament, depending on sort of the prestige of players that are there. I think Regen 2024, I'm gonna have to get fact checked on this one. Regen 2024, I think, came out as either a B tier or an A tier.
Okay.
I'm definitely gonna need a fact check on that one.
Yeah.
But that's, as I said, because we got quite a few prolific players out from Europe and beyond.
Oh, that's interesting. To be honest, off the top of my head, I don't think like the FGC has had anything in that kind of sense where your tournament is based on the tier. The tier is based on the players that are coming to your event. That's a really interesting concept. Actually, I don't think FTC's been like that, to be honest. I think the closest probably nowadays is like obviously when you have like, but even so, I was gonna say like when you have like a lot of players say like Tekken going to like a master event, for example.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
even
absolutely.
so, it doesn't rank the event per se because you already have the ranking of like master, challenger, etc., etc. It's not based on the players, whereas obviously with the Smash, it's based on the. That's pretty interesting. That's got me thinking now. That has got me thinking. But anyway, but no, that's really cool, man. So I guess obviously running Smash tournaments and running like FTC tournaments, so to speak, are pretty different in terms of how do you find that balance in terms of running these kind of events, and are there any kind of major differences between the two of them?
It's an interesting one, really, because I sort of mulled this question over, and I feel like on a base sort of event organization level, there aren't many differences between Smash and the FGC. I think thank you for the fact check there, Evio, brilliant. So there you go. I knew someone would come through. I knew some, but there's not a lot that is different between organizing Smash events and organizing the FGC, other than sort of equipment. Really, I think that's the one, because the Switch 2 is very compact. You can carry that in a rucksack, carry case. I find it quite difficult to carry a PlayStation around, especially when like, oh, if I'm in the middle of Wolverhampton city centre and I'm about to get mugged, like that's part of my livelihood they're taking there. That's it's so I feel like it's sort of. I think we found it easier to organize Smash tournaments purely from what I've said previously about knowing people and knowing that if we get certain players, like on the Waterway trailer, we get certain people in because we know that they will bring a crowd. And we know that if some of Scotland's top players are coming down, we know that a few of them will band together as friends and make the journey. Like there was, I got to shout out GP here because we did a similar thing with Albion Arena that happened in Norfolk, not Norfolk. No, that's what Norwich. That's the one, Norwich. Yeah, that might not even be. So, Albion Arena, a couple of the Midlands boys, we got an Airbnb together and we went down and we spent a lot. Divian was one of the people I Airbnb'd with. So I feel like that's one thing I've always felt in terms of scratching the surface of the FGC is how do we get that same sort of hype? How do we build up that same level of interest in our events? Because we are, in comparison to our sort of efforts running Smash, we're quite new in the FGC. We know that there are areas that we haven't scratched yet. I try to, using that Smash experience, I'll say, look, if we know that Richie or Cloud will be interested in coming, we'll like drop them a message and say, oh, are you coming down to Tilt and Tap? And we're trying to sort of use the same tactics that we did with Smash to incentivize the FGC to sign up. I think the one thing that I've really battled with is we've run Smash events where we've capped the brackets in a week, whereas sometimes with our Tilt and Taps, we sometimes have a little bit of more of a struggle getting people to sign up, and we're currently running through the process of how do we then approach the FGC differently? So on sort of foundation level, the events organizing is very similar between the two communities. I also feel it's just about how we then incentivize people to come to both events.
Yeah,
Because there is some crossover. There are some Smash players that play other games, but there are others who are very strictly Smash, don't interact with the FGC, and it's very much managing that cross pollination, but also managing how we cater to both communities individually. It'd be nice to it would be very nice to see a little bit more sort of not community, it's not the word I'm looking for, but to see that interaction between the two scenes. It's weird. It's really weird to think that Smash and the FGC have been so split.
Separated. For years. It's always been that thing.
It's always I never got to the bottom of it. It was just it was the whole sort of 10 years ago. It was the whole Smash isn't a fighting game argument. But now we've seen the growth of other platform fighters like Rivals of Aether 2, and it's
Brawlhalla and all those other
exactly
stuff,
and it's still a fighting game in its own right, I suppose.
In essence it's still a fighting game, but as you say, it's weird that, as you say, even us talking about it now, we're saying Smash and the FGC, and it's like
it should be like
the same thing.
It should be this. I've always viewed them as the same thing, really, because they're still communities. They are still
of course
groups of friends that come together and play a game that they're all passionate about. So it's very sort of linear for me to with the Wallace as well. We have that. We're very fortunate to have that crossover. A couple of the Tekken boys who started coming, they were like, "Oh, you know what? I'll join the Smash tournament for the for the shits and giggles, if you'll excuse the phrase."
No, fine, no worries.
We were. I didn't know if we were post watershed yet.
Nah, feel free.
Nah, I'm joking. But it's very much that we're getting that cross pollination with the Wallace now, which is really nice. It's also how, for those people that are strictly Smash or strictly the FGC, how can we still cater to those communities as separate entities as well as joined communities?
No, that's it. No, it makes sense, and that's one thing I noticed. Obviously, when doing like my research and stuff, obviously that you do run Smash with the FGC stuff, and it's strange because there's not many events, I guess you could say, other than like the bigger major tournaments, essentially, that actually run Smash alongside the typical FGC game. So obviously, you guys are doing something unique with the aim of trying to bring people together, which makes perfect sense, to be honest. Like, makes perfect sense. So it's really good, man. It's really good. So I guess one thing I would like to ask, in terms of, obviously, we're doing it, and we're just gonna do FGC stuff now. Obviously, with the games that we have nowadays, like the Tekkens and the Street Fighters and things like that, they have consistent patches, consistent updates, things of that nature. Whereas obviously Smash, I assume it's Smash Ultimate that you still play now.
It is still Smash. There is still a very dedicated Melee community. Melee never died. It's still running. There's people that have been in Melee for upwards of we're going on almost 25, 30 years now.
Shout out to you.
There's still some Melee about, but it is predominantly the Ultimate community that are at the forefront of.
So how does that work like now? Because I say obviously that doesn't really does it get patches and updates and things like that?
Nah, Ultimate's done now.
That's it now. Like,
we're all sat there in our hovels waiting for it's the big debate at the moment of, are we going to get a soft reboot? Are we going to get an MK1 style reboot, which is, cutting down the cast, cutting the stages and starting from the ground up? Or are we just getting Smash Ultimate Deluxe with Master Chief and a bunch of other people?
Because to be fair, like Ultimate, like obviously, I think everyone's played Ultimate. It's like, what other characters can you add in the game now, realistically?
I mean, we've only got hopes. I think there's it's nice to see like fighting games represented in a game like Smash, because it was originally seen as that celebration of gaming. I always wanted a Tekken rep in Smash. I was like, you know what, like they've got to do Heihachi or Kazuya, one of the two. flipping Minecraft getting in the game was like
Minecraft is crazy.
ultimate.
Persona, like so many.
Looking back, it's even the first party characters that people thought no one had a hell of a chance of getting into the game. Like Ultimate very much is what it says on the tin. It is the ultimate celebration of those games. That first trailer where we got Ridley after years
after years,
Ridley's too big for Smash.
Yeah, all those kind of talk. I remember that
way back, and then seeing
Cloud,
Sephiroth,
Sephiroth.
That Sephiroth I've never screamed so much at, like, if there's one thing that Smash did well, it was the trailers and
the trailers, all the trailers, all of them. I remember the King K. Rool one.
The K. Rool trailer was
was so funny. It's the parody of the Donkey Kong one, like
the Banjo trailer. For me, it was Dragon Quest. Even though the character had been leaked, we knew he was coming. It's seeing traditional JRPGs like Dragon Quest, like they got their day. What the Sora right at the end?
One. Yeah.
Oh, that was, mate. Yeah. My ears still ring from the tinnitus of the screams that happened in those Discord BCs that day.
Oh, that's funny. And I remember, as you mentioned, the Kazuya one earlier, and I think what they've done with the trailer is so faithful to like the source material as well, and you know, they put their own spin on it with, like, obviously it's throwing everyone off the cliff, and then Kirby floats back up, and it's just like
the Kazuya trailer was amazing.
Yeah.
But then, you know, he's also one of the most broken characters in Ultimate.
Is he really? Wow.
He's so broken. he's ridiculous. Genuinely, go on YouTube, look up any sort of Kazuya play in Smash. It's wild. They gave him everything.
You know what? I will check it out. No,
it is crazy. He just has, like, the FGC call them TODs, and it's like he literally has TODs. If you get people in the right spot, it's mad.
But wasn't Bayonetta? I remember wasn't Bayonetta like
Bayonetta
at a time?
Bayonetta was in the Smash 4 era. Bayonetta was like top one on par with like Brawl Meta Knight. It is. Yeah, there's been some crazy, and now it's Minecraft City.
Oh, really?
And now it's Minecraft, and now it's just Steve from Minecraft, which is an insane sentence in itself to say. I got beat in a fighting game by Steve from Minecraft. Yeah,
that's what I mean. That's why I say I don't think you can get. I can't think of any other kind of iconic characters that haven't been in Smash, because obviously you got Sonic, Pac-Man, Mega Man. There's obviously Nintendo characters. There's the RPGs.
It's all like the deep cuts now, because people wanted Castlevania for ages, and then we got Simon, two Belmonts.
Simon,
I feel like there is one series I feel that should have been represented, and it's a bit of a, well, I'm not a deep cut, but a lot of people go, oh, actually, Streets of Rage. We haven't got a Smash doesn't have a beat 'em up. Like, he doesn't have, but there's fighting game character reps. There's, you know, all of these platformers, the shooter reps,
RPGs. We got Snake. I used to use Snake on the Wii version. The Wii version.
Exactly.
I used to use
but
Snake,
like for a game that represents so many different genres of video game, we don't have a side-scrolling beat 'em up rep, and I feel like it's only natural to go for Streets of Rage there.
Makes sense. You know, you're onto something. Hopefully in the next Nintendo Direct, we have some news.
Listen, it's more realistic than my other hopes for Smash. So it's fine. It's fine.
Who are you hoping for Smash?
Oh, no. Professor Layton. No, hold up. Professor Layton in a Smash game.
I wouldn't even say that's like
puzzle genre.
It's Nintendo. It's Nintendo.
True. But also, like, I got almost everybody that I wanted in Smash Ultimate. I got that Dragon Quest rep. I got Ken. I got Kazuya. There wasn't much left apart from II from Super Monkey Ball. Which I think could be it'd be a different. I like those weird, quirky characters that aren't quite known for fighting games in their own right. you could make a move set from what they've
Yeah,
got. Like,
exactly.
you
It's
know,
how they translate that character
yeah.
into fighting game moves and things like that.
Gremlinator is my actual brother as well, by the way. So I've got to
Shout out to Gremlin.
shout out to
Shout
the
out to
bro.
Gremlin.
Shout out. But yeah, like Professor Layton moveset would go hard. A lot of people have been going like, oh, how would you put Super Monkey Ball in Smash? But all of the mini games that come along with the Monkey Ball games, just let me cook there. Let me cook.
Oh, that's super. Yeah. So as you say, in terms of like the Smash community, because obviously as you say, there's no patches, there's no things. How I don't feel obviously in FGC, a game doesn't go maybe a month or two without having some form of patch. So how, I guess from your perspective in terms of still playing Smash, how do you find that difference with say like Tekken that has there's a hotfix or there's a patch here or the season 2 or season 3? Do you feel like how do you kind of motivate yourself to still kind of be active within the Smash scene where obviously at this point the game is the game? But how do you kind of push yourself to the next level to kind of learn more as opposed to a Tekken where my character's not that good and now they've buffed the character and now how do you kind of find that?
I feel like you can attribute it to the fact that the community is still very, very close knit. So it's more than, I think it transcends Smash, and similar to the FGC, it transcends the game for some people, and it's a chance to get out and see your friends, and see, it's that chance to talk about, like, a lot of Team Wolfpack, we're all at different stages in our lives. Some people have just got a mortgage. I've got, as I said, my teaching career is ongoing. There's some people that are finishing uni thinking about what they want to do. So it's that chance to just really come together and just share life experiences as well as share experiences with the game. I think on the game front, though, as I said, because the community is still so active, there's still that desire to get better. There's still that desire to practice and keep instincts and keep skills fresh for whenever the next Smash is. I think age comes into it as well to an extent because the Smash community as a whole is younger than the FGC. The average age, there are some people who are now pushing 30, beyond 30, who are still around the Smash community, more so to see their friends, as I've already said. But a lot of the up and coming players are sort of, late teens, early 20s. They're in uni, they have an outlet for whatever is going on in their personal lives. So there is, what between that desire to see friends and see the community, there is also still that community that is pushing to keep practicing, keep grinding, get better. The meta's kind of settled at the moment. From a tournament organizing perspective, we had to have a conversation recently about banning a certain type of tech that Steve can use, or like, if we ban the tech, how are we then going to punish it? How are we then going to enforce it? That kind of thing. And I suppose it also comes down to, without getting the Nintendo ninjas at my door tomorrow, it's developer support. There was I feel like I've got to be very careful what I say here, I suppose. You see with the FGC, some of the scenes are wholly supported by the developers. You have the ArcSys tour running, you've got Tekken World Tour,
Grand Blue
Capcom,
Tour, World Tour,
exactly.
CPT, stuff like that. Yeah,
you've got a lot of organizations that want to see their competitive side thrive. I'm not saying that Nintendo don't want to see it thrive, but at the same time, the relationship between the competitive player base and the company has been a bit fractured over the last few years. Like there was a time where Nintendo wanted to get involved and say, look, we want to be involved, we want to run these tournaments, but then the application forms that you had to fill in were like, oh my God, you never see it. It was like trying to change someone's name by deed poll. It was like 9-10 pages of
Yeah,
documents that you
there's a
had to
lot of like
sign,
steps and hurdles and things that you've got to
mate.
go through
It
to kind
was,
of
and
get.
yeah,
Yeah.
ultimately people just decided it wasn't worth it and just kept running tournaments as it was without consulting Nintendo.
Yeah.
And it's a shame. It's a shame because I I am a lifelong Nintendo fan, lifelong Nintendo player.
Likewise.
I'm still putting money in their pocket, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it would be nice to see a little bit of developer support, I suppose. Oh, a
No,
bit of a digression there, but
no, no worries. No worries.
ultimately it's wanting to sort of get better and get there.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense. So I guess being a TL extraordinaire, as it were, running multiple games, multiple scenes, helping out with multiple communities, would there be any kind of key tips and advice that you would give to anyone that kind of wanted to start a scene or kind of start running their own like events or things like that, or just running like community stuff? Would there any kind of advice that you'd be able to give or share?
I feel like when you're starting from step one, you need to make sure that you've got you've got the player base first and foremost. You've got that sort of interest. Word of mouth means so much in these communities because, as I said earlier, a group of friends might all decide to come down to a tournament. As part of a collective. I also feel like maintaining a really good relationship with your venue is important. It's so difficult to come across venues nowadays. I mentioned earlier about trying to trying to run tournaments in Birmingham City Centre and being, people asking upwards of 200, even 300 quid at times for one night a week is
doesn't make sense. You can't. It's not viable.
It's not viable at all. You can't.
Yeah.
So once you've got, we're very grateful to have the George Wallace, partly because we did, we piggybacked off of Royal Jester, but also because we keep people coming with these venues that often ask, oh, please support us, please buy food and drink. We've always been really big. We've always pushed for our players to try and support the venue in whatever way that they can. Cost of living crisis, money is hard, but even just buying one Pepsi Max goes a long way.
It's just like helping, like one hand washes the other. They're helping have the event, so just help them out, and you just worked in tandem to kind of keep things going and working smoothly. It's the best way to do
definitely.
it. Really.
I also feel like sometimes you have to come to compromises within your team. There's a lot of as I've mentioned, there's still that there's that divide in a way between Smash and the FGC. There are people on Team Wolfpack that are strictly Smash. They don't really dabble with the FGC, but they still make the effort to talk to the people that attend our locals. They'll still maintain really good working relationships. I think it's been really interesting to see both grassroots workings of organizing events, but also having the experience with a team like Team Regen, where effectively it was almost like running a business with maintaining venue relationships, making sure that we are we going to fly good players out? Are we going to pay for people? Are we going to pay for appearances of like top players, that kind of thing? So I think with working within a team, that compromise is really important to think actually we need to see and cater to everybody in our community, whether they are one side of whether they're Smash or the FGC, but if Cookie's still here, I know that he absolutely vouch for your O2 or your 1-2er, your people the people that come for the community and come to learn and get better, but ultimately stay for the friends that they've made. I think that you really need a balance between those, the foundations of your scene, those O2ers, 1-2ers, but also if you can maintain good relationships with those top players, to use that moniker, then they can also vouch for you essentially. And if we know that we've done a good job on a tournament, if people like Richie, for example, turn around and say, we had a really good time, thank you for coming, thank you for inviting us, and keeping up those appearances. So also, yeah, I think the advice that I would give really is it is a long, hard road, but if you've got a really good team behind you who are not just a professional workforce but also your friends, things can go a long way.
Yeah, no, it definitely makes sense, and it's totally true because, as I say, a lot of the dojo guys, for example, we've known each other since like 08, 09, and there's quite a few members of the team that were back doing dojo stuff back then that are still on the team now. Like myself, for example, as I say, I came in like 08, 09. I remember the only reason I started doing the design because shout out to Jason DNA. He asked me, like, he said, oh, because I'll do graphic design is like my background anyway. And then there's like, oh, we're running an event, blah, blah, blah. We're going to do versus fighting.
Yeah.
And then it came up in conversation. It's like, oh, you do design? I said, yeah. He said, oh, do you want to design the poster? I said, okay. And I'm still here now, like 15, 16 years later.
It's those people that really pass the torch and pass the mantle. Like, I feel like all roads sort of led to what we're doing now, because I remember sort of being late, sort of, I want to say like late teens, and Hawks was running Hawks Nests.
Yes. Shout out Hawks.
So like we had, I remember there were a few Hawks Nest tournaments where there was Smash and fighting games being run out of an office block in West Brom.
Yeah, I remember them. I was probably there at one of them.
Were you there? Were you there? For
I remember West Brom. Not for the Easter egg hunts.
The Easter egg hunt one was so funny. that was of hilarious. Like, it was also running like mystery tournaments and things like that. I love those sort of extra add-ons. I'll vividly remember like it was that one Hawk's Nest that I mentioned with the Easter egg hunt, where there was a mystery tournament where round one was a board game where you had a hammer and you had to like knock ice blocks out of this thing to stop a penguin from falling, and then from there we went on to flipping like clay fight. It was like a pure everything tournament. It was brilliant.
Man, yeah, but shout out to Hawks, man. It was still, again, Hawks was at versus fighting as well. To catch up with him briefly, but yeah, like obviously West Ham, we've been in the scene for so long. I'm so old.
That's the thing. It was whether it was Birmingham, those tournaments in West Brom were fun, because I'm from West Brom originally. So it was literally, roll out of bed, walk up the road, and there I was at a monthly tournament. It was sick. The interconnectivity of all of the scenes is just something to be admired, really.
Yeah, and it's really sick. Obviously, speaking to Richie last week, and obviously I was checking because there was a foundry the next day. I was checking, and I saw your name on there, and I was like, I can't make. I was gonna try and come down and make it, and again formally introduce myself, because as I say, we only met briefly at Versus Fighting, which was very in passing. It's probably, I think it may have been the Sunday. I think
it was literally the Sunday, because we'd been talking through Twitter, trying to get you put some of our Wolfpack promo on the trailers, which we're still immensely grateful for, because we weren't expecting that Waterway trailer to be shown. not at Versus. We were like, different crowd, surely not. But we're very grateful to yourself and the rest of the ED team for putting that local promo out between both us and Foundry. But it came to the Sunday, and I was like, you know what, actually, I was like, we've spoke on Twitter, but we've not actually met. So I turned around to Coop Star, and I went Coop, and who runs the Twitter? And just at that time you came walking past. So that's how we got to obviously meet yourself, and thank you in person for everything that you've done on a promo side for us.
And I said at the time, because obviously we spoke and you sent the Tilt and Tap post already, and then I think I saw that you announced what was that, the Waterway? So I had a little scroll around. I said, I saw the YouTube video. I said, okay, I can throw that in there, and I literally just stole it and put it in there.
That was the biggest surprise. It was brilliant, because Cookie was sat in the big auditorium watching the Guilty Gear Top 8, and the Waterway trailer came on, and I got a message going, the Waterway trailer's just been shown, and we're like, what? That was a really, really nice surprise. So
No,
thank you for that.
no, I'm glad it was a surprise. Well, it's nothing more to obviously share, like, the rest of the communities, and there's people out there doing amazing work. So it's like, why not share and celebrate it, basically? So, oh, it's sick, man, it's sick. But yeah, no, that's it's fun, man, it's fun. But it's good to meet you in person as well, because I say we've been talking a little bit here and there, and it's just randomly as I'm gone by with my camera, of course, and yeah, it was just good to meet you, man. But no, that's really sick.
Absolutely.
Definitely, man. So I guess we can kind of just touch on before we kind of wrap up, like life outside of the FGC in terms of, I guess, in terms of like FGC, in terms of for now, I guess, like what other games are you playing outside of fighting games?
Oh, okay. That's I've got a backlog as the normal gamer. I've got a backlog a mile long. I finally my goal over these 6 weeks was to start Expedition 33.
Okay,
because I'd heard so much about it.
I heard a lot as well, same.
So I was like, you know what, I've got to start Expedition 33, and I'm loving that at the moment. I do dabble in other games, like Marvel Tokens just dropped, having a lot of fun with that.
Same.
I regrettably went back to Overwatch as well when they did the rebranding. So between I like it's those games that have got a bit of a competitive edge to them. Like, I've little bit of Overwatch here. Like, I've been playing a few of the sort of like friend slop games as well. Me and Cookie, Dizzle, and Mole from Wolfpack, we're currently running through the Left 4 Dead campaigns again.
Okay.
So we all hopped on. We were like, okay, what's the game we've all got that we can play? But we've finished Left 4 Dead 2, and we're going through all the original Left 4 Dead 1 campaigns, which is a lot of fun. Today I've been replaying Mario Sunshine as well, because it came out on Nintendo Switch Online.
Nice.
Finally gonna go for the 100% on that one, because in 20 years of playing Sunshine, I've never done the 100%, so I'm going to do it. But outside of video games entirely, I also play darts on a Monday night. So nice. I was never sporty as a kid, but I caught a couple of World Darts Championship matches a couple of years ago, and Luke Little came on the scene, and I was like, you know what? Actually, I've always enjoyed watching darts. Let's pick up another hobby. So so between the majority of this 6 weeks holidays has been Expedition 33. A couple of fighting games, but also pub league darts on a Monday night.
Nice. Now, darts is cool, man. As I say, we spoke off screen, and that, like, I used to watch darts quite a lot back in the day.
Nice. You gotta get back into it.
I'm gonna try because I don't know what happened. I'm not sure what it was, but as I say, every Thursday Premier League darts. I'll be watching that. World Championships, Ali Pali and all the rest of it.
Yeah, it's a great spectator sport.
It is.
I'd love to get there.
100%.
If I ever get down to the Ali Pali, that's gonna. I mean, it's mega money, but if I ever get down there, that's gonna be a hell of an experience.
Yeah, and it's just like I'd say the experience and just the vibe, and they always have fun. And I know obviously they do. Obviously, the Premier League darts travels and stuff, so I know they've done Birmingham as well. So yeah, I'll have to definitely try and get back. So is it still like Luke Littler, who's like top now at the moment?
At the moment, yeah. Luke, it's very much sort of like Luke Littler, Luke Humphreys, who are sort of the front runners.
Yeah.
I've not been watching much darts recently, more so just playing it. But yeah, it's still Littler mania, and he's for years to come. I think it's going to be Luke Littler doing, Luke Littler doing Luke Littler things.
Yeah, because he's still sort of young as well. Because when you think of like back in the day, where like it was Phil Taylor, Barneveld, all those, they're obviously older guys and stuff. But like Luke, he's got so many years ahead of him. I think from memory, the youngest around at the time was probably Adrian Lewis. That was like a younger guy that came in at the time.
And then when Van Gerwen came along as well.
Yes, of course, he was so young as well with Van Gerwen as well. So.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's sick, man. That's sick. So yes, I guess we can kind of wrap up for now. It's been an amazing conversation. I appreciate your time. But before we go, no, it's been a pleasure, man. It's been a pleasure just learning about obviously the Smash scene and just the kind of differences between the two. And obviously, you guys, doing your thing as well, man. So I guess before we kind of wrap up, if you got any shout outs, you want to shout out your own socials and the people that you need to shout out, and we can wrap up and go through the event
by
as
all
well
means.
before we wrap up. Yeah,
Yeah,
continue.
by all means. So I am at Cojax H on X, at Cojax99 on Instagram as well. Obviously, there's the Team Wolfpack X and Instagram, both of which you can follow. I also want to shout out Zeitgeist Magazine, which is a new venture that I've been taking on as well. We're trying to recapture the essence of your retro gamer magazines.
Nice.
I'm doing a little bit of work with I'm the assistant editor of Zeitgeist Magazine, so I've got to shout them out as well.
Okay. That sounds interesting. That sounds interesting. I'm a retro head. I'm a retro head. Like SNES is my all-time console.
It's a very sort of community ran thing at the moment, but Zeitgeist has been going on for a year, and I've just joined as the assistant editor. So we've got an issue coming out soon, which is all sort of about. I've written an article about beach levels in like the early 2000s, and like that noughties beach level aesthetic.
Yeah,
we've got quite a few articles coming through from volunteers essentially. And we'll have a few. We're planning to do a Halloween issue and a Christmas issue as well. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. But that would be at we've only got Instagram at the moment. I am going to be setting up an X account for that, so that is at Zeitgeist Magazine as well. Nice. And there is a TikTok with the same handle as well. But I've got it. Obviously, shout out to everybody at Wolfpack Foundry, everyone who I've mentioned over the course of the last hour and a bit. Every person has had an individual impact on both myself and what the community is. So I couldn't thank them enough, honestly. Great. I think that about hopefully covers everybody without missing anyone out. And I always worry about, and shout out to yourselves at Electronic Dojo as well, obviously, because without this exposure, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. So thank you.
No, appreciate it, man. This is not a problem at all. Not a problem at all. And as I say, obviously, we will share. You have Wars at the Wallace coming up.
Absolutely.
That is tomorrow. That is tomorrow, isn't it? That is actually.
It's only a day away.
So you guys hopefully ready for that. So we've got Wolves at the Wallace, August 27th, which is tomorrow. That Wolfpack will be running. We also have Tilt and Tap. I was going to ask you about the Tilt and Taps actually. These more like regional events. Obviously, you have your bi-weeklies. These more and how frequent? How frequent are these? Yeah.
How frequent are they? We try to do 2 a year, roughly, because we try to balance it with our Smash regionals as well.
Yes.
So we wanted when we were planning Waterway after Tilt and Tap 3, because Tilt and Tap 3 was around May time this year.
Okay.
It was like we engineered Tilt and Tap 3 so that it would be at the beginning of the Tekken World Tour season. So we after Tilt and Tap 3, Cookie turned around and was like, you know what, actually I reckon we could squeeze out a Tilt and Tap 4 before the end of the year. So we aim to do roughly 2 Tilt and Taps a year, and then we aim to do 2 Black Country showdowns a year as well, roughly. But obviously the Waterways are sort of bigger venture this time round.
Bigger, nice. Okay. Now, so the next one would probably be next year now then.
After this, yes. This will be the last Tilt and Tap of this year. We'll revisit it next year for definite.
Nice. I will look to get to some of these because I need to get myself back. It's only because, as I said, I was playing Fatal Fury and now I'm playing Tokon and I feel like I'm kind of getting the itch again. So I need to start getting back out there again.
There's just certain games that always bring you back. Like I know the Avatar Legends game has got quite a few people hooked at the moment as well.
It's a really good game as well. So yeah, definitely. So I've got to say we have Tilt and Tap on September 26th. As you said, most of the games are full. There's a waiting list for Tekken at the moment.
There is a waiting list for Tekken at the moment, but we've still got spaces for Street Fighter 6. I think we still have a couple of Grand Blue spaces.
Nice.
And I might have to check Tokon. Tokon might have capped.
Yeah, we'll talk off stream because I can slide a little brown paper bag your way and you can slide me in the bracket.
We'll see what we can do. We'll see what we can do.
We'll see. And we also have Wolves at the Waterway as well.
Yes, indeed,
the big Smash event as well. Which again, I like the graphics and stuff as well, and like very clean stuff, man. It's really cool, man. So
thank you, much appreciated.
It's coming for us well, so I'll definitely look out for your events. But that's it for now. I think that pretty much covers everything. If you've got anything else you want to share before we depart for this evening.
No, I think we've covered everything there. But just again, thank you for the opportunity to come on and talk all things Wolfpack and Smash and the FGC and just where we've been. So 12 long years in the Smash community it's taking its toll now, and I'm transitioning. And I'm transitioning to transition. I'm just very grateful that I was welcomed into the FGC by by a lot of the people that that are running run Foundry. And hopefully, I think some of your up and coming community corners, if I am to. Might feature a couple of familiar faces.
Yes, there may be a few familiar faces in a week or two. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, excellent!
Definitely.
Look forward to them for definite.
No, that's cool. Well, we appreciate your time and appreciate everyone tuning in to this episode this evening. Thank you so much. I'm so unprepared. I forgot all my plugs and stuff after. I forgot everything. So I normally stream on Monday 6 till about 9 Marvel Talk-On. So it's just an open lobby. So I just code is 0121. It's just open lobby. I do streams while I'm learning the game and getting bodied at the same time. So that's normally on the Mondays. Obviously, Community Corners is every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Next week's episode, we have SMBF Bumblebee next week. Shout outs to the guys over in Super Mario Battle Farm. Obviously, they just come off a successful Sodium Showdown last weekend just gone, so we'll be talking about that as well as Guilty Gear, commentary, the Bristol scene, and much more. So that will be next week's episode at 7 p.m. Next week. If I got any other shout outs, I think that's next week's episode. As I say, I'll be streaming on Monday. I'll be streaming on Wednesday. I'm also going to try and bring the retro streams back on Tuesday, where I'll be playing random retro games. Like I was playing Country Free, Strider,
nice.
Streets of Rage, Batman Returns. I'm going to throw some fighting games in there as well. I started it for maybe about a month and a bit and kind of fell off just live stuff, but I'm going to try and get those in the regular rotation as well. So the retro streams will be on the Tuesdays because I need to keep my Thursdays open for Wolves at the Wallace and Black Country Fangy, of course.
Please do.
Of course I will. So I'm definitely going to be making an appearance at some time then. But for now, guys, we thank you and appreciate you for spending your time with us this evening. Thank you, Cojax. It's been amazing. It's lovely to actually speak to you in person and find out more about you and yourself. And aside from obviously the FGC stuff, just being a teacher and the darts and things as well. So appreciate your time. Actually, I forgot my last plug, as we always end outside of the FGC. I am also a children's author and illustrator, and I have a series of children's books. LittleMiloBooks.com is where you can find all the books. So I have plush toys, coloring books, reading books. This is like kind of like passion of mine to kind of give back on whatever. So this is what I do outside of FGC stuff. So if you're interested, the website is littlemilobooks.com. I'm currently working on another book now, which hopefully by the end of the year, but we'll see how it goes. But yeah, plush toys, if you know anyone with kids, aunts, uncles, whatever, littlemilobooks.com is where you can find all this stuff. But
that's amazing.
No, I appreciate that. But for now, we will go. We'll head off. Thank you for your time again. Appreciate you so much. We'll be back next week. You can join me on Monday for Marvel Talk-On stream. And yeah, that's about it. And say, Cojax, it's been a pleasure. You enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you very much. I'm gonna try and squeeze in a couple games of Talk-On and then get some food. So, and as I say, we'll have to. Are you on PS5? Last you?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
I'll message you in the DMs and we'll try and get some games in and stuff.
Absolutely.
But yeah, thanks so much. Thanks everyone for tuning in today. We'll be back next week at 7 p.m. Same time, same place. Follow us on Electronic Dojo on all socials, except Instagram, which is Electronic Dojo UK. But yeah, thanks guys. Thanks again. Appreciate you guys. We'll see you soon. Peace out. We're gone. See you later.